I'm Steve Morgan, founder of Cybersecurity Ventures and editor-in-chief at Cybercrime magazine. As part of our ongoing coverage on ransomware, we recently spoke to several top experts. But before we check in with the CISOs, we caught up with Yella Waringa, security awareness advocate at KnowBe4.
So ransomware is a very successful industry, unfortunately. If you look at the organization, the gangs behind ransomware, I think that they've now risen to a level of professionalism where we cannot underestimate the power that they have. We as the cybersecurity industry need to start looking at how do we combat the organizations behind the technology. A lot of us focus on ransomware as a technology, as a malware, as an issue that's within IT. But I think it's much broader than that, and that's one of the things that we need to take care of.
Often called the fastest growing type of cybercrime, ransomware poses a serious threat to companies of all types and sizes across the globe. By 2031, Cybersecurity Ventures predicts that it will cost victims upward of $265 billion annually. We asked Susan Koski, CISO at PNC, for her thoughts on the dollar figure, which is based on 30% year-over-year growth in damage costs over the next 10 years.
I think, though, that the numbers may not be exactly where we think they are. They could be higher because when you look traditionally at cybercrime, it was something we thought of as overseas. It's no longer overseas. Those gangs, the criminals, they're here. They're in the United States. They're operating here. They're very well funded. They run this as a bona fide business. And when you look at what they're doing, they've learned the banking system incredibly well. You're not doing fraud without a cyber channel nowadays. Even if you're writing a check, that's still going through and getting scanned through our digitized systems. So it's just been a growing trend, and I think the criminals are looking to take advantage of any gap in the system to monetize it for their gain.
Organizations often have policies against paying ransoms in the event of a cyber attack. However, Bobby Ford, Senior Vice President and Chief Security Officer at HPE, says that it's not always that simple.
Here's where it becomes a challenge. Let's say that you have some IoT-enabled elevator, and the maintenance company for that elevator has convinced you that the easiest way and the best and the safest way to perform maintenance on that system is through some type of remote admin access. And so let's say that that elevator has now been attacked with some form of ransomware, that system that controls the elevator, and you receive an email that says, give me $20K and I'll unlock the elevator. And you're thinking, nope, we have a policy that says we will never pay a ransom. But there happens to be some 8-year-old on the elevator with type 2 diabetes, and there's a fear of them going into some type of diabetic coma. It's hard for me to look at the mother or the father of that child and say, unfortunately, we have a policy that says we won't pay the $20,000 for ransom. And so when you think about the convergence of the cyber world and the physical world, or the virtual world and the physical world, I think that we have to recognize that there will be an instance where we may consider paying.
For many businesses, it's not a case of if, but rather when a ransomware attack or breach occurs. One industry that has been repeatedly targeted is healthcare, with cybercriminals often leaving irreparable damages and financial devastation in their wake. Paul Connolly, Chief Security Officer at HCA Healthcare, knows firsthand the importance of preventing such incidents, especially when lives are on the line.
I think now it's because everybody recognizes that this is real. This can happen to them. I mean, it's barely a week that goes by that you don't see a story about some hospital somewhere being hit by ransomware. That's one of the big drivers behind the investments that we make, is to not let ourselves fall into a situation like that. People depend on hospitals to be there in their moment of need. So it's just a non-negotiable for us to allow something like that to happen.
Efforts to combat this threat are ongoing, but it is expected to grow in the coming years. According to Cybersecurity Ventures, ransomware will attack a business, consumer, or device every 2 seconds by 2031. Adam Keown, Global Chief Information Security Officer at Eastman, told us how authorities around the world, including the SEC and the FBI, are working relentlessly to get and stay ahead.
It's always concerning that any type of cybercrime is growing, including ransomware. It is coming up more and more often in all boardroom discussions, especially around audit committees and across the entire board of companies. Beyond that, what has happened is you have U.S. agencies like the SEC proposing that all board members who have cybersecurity experience, that should now be in public filings to include, recent breaches and such. That just shows you that everyone is taking note of cybersecurity, and it's not going to slow down.
For more information on cybercrime and cybersecurity, including the latest facts, figures, and statistics which convey the magnitude of the threat we're up against, visit us at cybersecurityventures.com. This special production is sponsored by KnowBe4, the world's first and largest news school security awareness training and simulated phishing provider that helps you manage the ongoing problem of social engineering. To learn more about our sponsor KnowBe4, visit KnowBe4.com.